Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 16th of December, comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar. I see a lot of green on the screen, by the way, but we start by looking at the dollar, remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and figure targets. And so we see on the 60-minute chart, we're just falling away on the dollar. No big surprises there. We're teeing up for another big down week. And we're seeing the trend in the daily chart. Remembering this candle here represents 5 candles on the daily chart, represents multiple candles on the weekly chart. So this is a week, that's about a week there, and that's just 1 week in that candle. So we see here that we are heading lower. We've got downside targets on the dollar index. And that's exactly what's happening. So no big surprises there. Dollar is weaker. That means that the euro is stronger. We're sitting over 122 this morning. Big jump there on the dollar on the 60-minute chart, breaking higher. We said this would happen. We moved into this pattern, sideways move out of the pattern. So we're seeing that on the euro. Upside targets on the 60-minute chart. If you're trading currencies, use the 1-minute charts. That means on the yen, dollar yen, we're back to the 103 level, sinking lower there. That November low starting to look like it's coming under pressure. Sterling is up against that weaker dollar. We're sitting at 134.93, just nudging that 135 level. That's breaking to multi-month highs there. The highest level we've seen really for a couple of years, just starting to show on sterling. So that's quite interesting. And against the euro, we're sitting at 110.55 this morning. So sterling just looking a little bit better. Rumours yesterday of a Brexit deal in the offing. Of course, that is looking good for sterling. Looking at Bitcoin, we're sitting at $19,500. We reached that target that was given way back in June time. We've got a new upside target, $25,700, if we can break to new highs. So that's what we're really looking for. Bullish on all 3 time frames. Looking at the S&P 500 index, we're up 1.3% yesterday, so a strong showing there. Much the same for the Nasdaq. We were up strongly as well. So markets really recovering, and the Dow was up 1.13% as well. So really clearing that 30,000 mark now very clearly indeed, with good upside targets on these markets, 8 and 26% higher. Those are long-term targets, of course. That's on the 1% chart. Looking at the S&P future this morning, we're up 0.25%, and on the Nasdaq E-mini, we're up 0.4%. The VIX volatility falling as a result of the markets looking better. The fear index is now not so fearful. Looking at the DAX in Germany, we're up 1.3%. Big jump there this morning, and the CAC Quarante up 1%. So also looking higher. Still has a lot of work to do to break to new all-time highs, but that's still looking strong on that short-term chart. Japan was up 0.25% overnight, and the Hang Seng up 1%. So we are just reversing a bit of the trend there. Taking a look at the Indian market, that continues to power ahead, up 0.8%. An amazing looking chart, gone from 25,000 to 45,000, 46,000 in the space of several months. So really powering ahead. Indian stocks looking very strong indeed. The S&P Australian market up 0.7%, still a long way from making a new high there. Of course, the weaker dollar is good for most commodities. We're seeing gold sitting at $1,860. That's back into short-term bullish territory. That's giving us upside targets to play for. Not yet activated, but looks like we'll get back above that $2,000 mark. Of course, if we make new highs, we activate the $3,000 target. So gold still looking stellar on that long-term chart. And silver nudging the 25 level. 23 was support, but silver looking very strong indeed, looking like it's starting to motor again. And we've got an upside target at about 28.40. That's 14% away. Copper up slightly. Its run continues. Again, a very strong recovery this year, so looking good there. US 10-year yield sitting steady at 0.92%. We had big moves last night in the tech majors, Apple especially, was up 5%. So that's starting to look strong. Still not making new highs, of course, and that's what we want to see for these downside targets to be negated on the charts. These downside targets 37% lower. We need new highs to take those off the chart. Taking a look at the energy mix now, we've got Brent crude up slightly, holding the $50 mark quite convincingly this week. We've got a new target of 52.30 on the 1 minute chart. That's the target we're looking to at the moment. WTI sitting at 47.60 this morning. So that's going to be quite key as well, and we're just pushing higher there. We're just really sitting around that no change, but we are on the 1 minute chart, multiple upside targets, looking very bullish. We are just nudging that resistance level. Unlike Brent crude, not quite touching resistance, WTI is. We've got good upside targets. Looks like we'll break towards the $50 mark. US nat gas sitting at $2.64. We've got targets to 274 and 289, and we're favouring those at the moment. We just need to break that resistance we set on Monday, but for the moment it's looking like a recovery in US nat gas. A lot of gas prices being driven by massive moves in LNG at the moment as well. Coal is sitting steady at $68, looking very strong. The Chinese story there in terms of quelling Aussie coal demand is pushing API2 higher. We're seeing API2 and API4 pushing higher, so non-Australian coal is really pushing much higher. Emissions, we've gone through the contract roll for the year, so we're into a new contract and looking very strong indeed. This is the December 21 contract now, and we're seeing 32.70, 33.20 as a new upside target. Emissions just going through much higher moves there. Gas prices pulling back a little bit, but have had a very strong week so far. TTF down 0.07%. Again, a strong week so far. Targets there 19 euros. We've got 17.63 as the intermediate target. Looking at power prices, we've got German power sitting at 46.30 this morning, looking very strong, having broken that resistance level. That was always the key with power prices. Once we broke that level there, we really pushed higher. We've got lots of upside targets here, 48, 49, 48.75, 47.60, all to play for. A little downside target not yet activated, nothing to really worry about there. German power looking very strong indeed. Taking a look at the Nordics, we're seeing much more in a range here, not breaking to new highs, a very different characteristic. And the same with the quarterly contract for Norway. And if we look at UK power, last of all, sitting at 48.70, got lots of upside targets here. UK power finally breaking out after a few months of sideways moves. So we're seeing a lot of moves in the markets generally. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.